When Moshe Rabbeinu goes out to the field, he sees the sneh bo'er ve'enenu ukal. The sneh, the bush, is on fire, but it doesn't get burnt. So Moshe Rabbeinu wonders, how could that be that there's a fire there, but it doesn't get burnt? He doesn't understand it. And he goes close, and he tries to find out. But when we take a look at the Mefarshim, to see what was HaKadosh Baruch Hu tried to hint to Moshe Rabbeinu with that idea, we see something very interesting. For instance, take a look at Rabbeinu Bechaye. He speaks about the sneh in two aspects. In one aspect it says that sneh Chazal darshu milashon Sinai, which comes to hint Ma'amad Har Sinai, the fire that would be in Har Sinai. The Torah is given in fire, Chazal tell us. Alokot dvari ka'esh Neum Hashem. The words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Torah, is like the fire. Alokot dvari ka'esh. And then on the second hand, the hint is that Am Yisrael would be burnt in the fires for generations to come. And that is the message HaKadosh Baruch Hu tries to tell Moshe Rabbeinu. You should know, Am Yisrael is going to go through a very hard exile, hard galut, hard history. And the lashon of the Rishon, Rabbeinu Bechaye, Yirmoz hasne la'am hashafel asher barzel ba'a benafsho. This comes to hint that the nation would be oppressed throughout history with the sword, v'uboer tamid be'esh hatzarot, constantly burning in a fire of the tzarot, the pain. V'atzarot yikifu mikol tzedadav. He would be surrounded with those tzarot constantly. V'raui shechle b'tzarotav. Naturally, he should have been gone. But just like that bush that's being burnt in a fire, nothing happens to it, that itself would be the Am Yisrael, the nation, that would be burnt but would never get completely burnt. And when we take a look at that, we can't not see a resemblance to what we call a salamandra. Salamandra is a lizard appearance that looks exactly like a lizard, but Chazal tell us a very interesting nature about that lizard, and that is that it's created from being burnt for a very long time. If you have a fire burning, some say 7 years and some say 7 days, but whatever it is, it's burning for a very long time. A creature comes out of it called Salamandra. And that salamandra has very interesting nature, that if you put it in a fire, it doesn't get burnt, since it was created from the fire. And if you take that salamandra and you rub it around your body, nothing happens to you. The Gemara says about Achaz, that took his son, Chizkiyahu, threw him into the fire, wanted to burn him. So his mother beforehand rubbed his body, skin, with salamandra, and he came into the fire, nothing happened to him. The Sefer Hasidim tells us an interesting story about a goy that wanted to show a robe that doesn't get burnt. And he said that robe belonged to Jesus. He took that robe, he threw it into the fire in front of everybody, he showed them, you see, the robe doesn't get burnt. They took it out, it was exactly the way it came in. Not one burnt in it. So there was a Jew over there, he said to that guy, can you give me that robe, let me see it. He took that robe and he washed it well with detergents, and then he took that robe and he told everybody, now throw it into the fire. Once they put it in the fire, instantly it was burnt. They asked him what happened. He said, very simple, this guy rubbed that rope with salamandra. Once you rub it with salamandra, nothing happens to it. So therefore, that salamander has that power. Since it was created from fire, it's protected from the fire. Even more so, some learn that it's protected only in fire. Once you take it out of the fire, it dies instantly. And therefore, the Mefarshim say over here, fascinating idea. The Gemara in the end of Chagigat tells us that this salamandra teaches to Talmidei Chachamim. The Talmidei Chachamim don't get burnt in the fire of Gehenom. Just like the salamandra doesn't get burnt in the fire, Talmidei Chachamim Kal Vachomer don't get burnt in the fire of Gehenom. Why is that? Because when you have the Torah Kedosha has that ability to protect you because it's creation of fire. So Rabbeinu Bechaya says there's this double message here. In one hand, Rabbeinu Bechaya says that it comes to tell us that Am Yisrael would be burnt in generations. Just like that bush was burning and burning. Just like the Salamandra, you put it in the fire, it's burning. But what something happened to it? No, because something that was created in fire is protected, just like that bush, just like that Salamandra, and just like Talmidei Chachamim, just like Am Yisrael. Since the creation of Torah, Torah is made in fire, and therefore fire would not get it burnt. Therefore, our power, according to that Gemara, according to Mefarshim that explain this, is the power of that fire called Torah. One should hold on very tightly to that power. Otherwise, the other power of fire would burn him all out.